Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty much everyone goes through, the job interview. Specifically, those first few questions, the ones that could feel a bit make or break right at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. They can be stressful.
Our goal here is really just to give you a clearer, sort of structured way to handle them so you feel more confident walking in.
Definitely. Interviews are, well, they're gatekeepers, aren't they? And those opening questions, they carry a lot of weight. We've looked into common interview tactics, effective ways to answer, really trying to find the best strategies.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're focusing just on let's say, the first 5 really common questions you're almost guaranteed to hear.
Think of it as getting inside the interviewer's head a little. What are they really asking?
Okay, so let's kick things off with probably the most common opener there is. Tell me about yourself.
Yes. That one.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Like an open invitation.
It does, but it can also make you think, oh gosh, where do I start? What's interesting is it's not really that open-ended from their perspective.
Right. So what are they actually looking for? It's not just your life story.
Not at all. They're listening to how you communicate, first off. Can you pull together a concise, relevant, professional story about yourself?
Okay. Communication skills.
Makes sense.
And they want to quickly see, does your background, your key experience actually line up with what this job needs?
Relevance. Got it.
And sort of subtly, they're getting a first impression, your demeanor, what you choose to focus on. Does it feel like you'd fit into their team, their culture?
Like the headline of your professional self.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, the headline.
Okay, so if that's the goal, how do you structure it? How do you deliver that headline effectively without, rambling? Our source mentioned a formula, present, past, future.
Yes, that's a really solid framework. It keeps you focused. You start with the present. What's your current role, your main area of expertise right now?
Okay, current situation first. Then the past. Briefly touch on relevant experiences. And this is key mention achievements, not just duties. What did you accomplish?
The achievements, right, not just the job description.
Exactly. And then the future part connects it all. Why are you here? Why this company, this role? How does it fit with where you want to go?
That flows nicely.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give a quick example, let's say, for someone in marketing?
Sure. Okay, so present. Currently, I'm a final year marketing student at Boston University, and I'm specializing in digital marketing analytics.
Okay.
Past. Over the last 2 years, I interned at a small ad agency. There, I helped increase customer engagement by about 30% using targeted social media campaigns. And I also designed a holiday campaign that actually got the highest conversion rate they'd seen.
Okay, specific results there.
Yeah, quantification helps. Then future. So I'm really looking to apply these analytical skills and my creative background at a progressive company like yours. I'm excited about contributing to innovative marketing strategies and really developing my expertise in data-driven marketing.
See, that connects everything. Present focus, past proof, future goal linked to this company.
Exactly. Tell a concise, compelling story.
So what trips people up here? What are the common mistakes to avoid?
Well, getting too personal is a big one. Stick to professional info.
Right?
Also, just listing jobs without saying what you did, what you achieved, that doesn't tell them much. And talking for too long, keep it under, say, 90 seconds or maybe 2 minutes, tops. And try not to sound like you memorized a script. Natural is better.
Authenticity, yeah.
Yeah.
That point about numbers increased engagement by 30%, that really stands out.
Absolutely. Quantifying achievements makes your claims much more credible and impactful. It's concrete evidence.
Okay, good stuff. Let's move to the next one. This is often seen as a bit of a tricky one. What is your greatest weakness?
Yes. The dreaded weakness question.
It feels like a trap sometimes, right?
It can feel that way. But, interviewers aren't usually trying to catch you out, revealing some fatal flaw. What they're really gauging is your self-awareness. Do you know yourself?
Okay, so self-awareness.
Yeah, and honesty. Plus, your capacity for growth. Can you identify an area for improvement, and are you doing something about it? It also shows how you handle a slightly uncomfortable question.
So it's less about the weakness itself and more about how you talk about it.
Largely, yes. It's about maturity and proactivity.
Okay, so how do you answer honestly without shooting yourself in the foot? The source suggests another formula. Weakness, action, result.
That's the one. It works well. First, identify a genuine weakness, but critically, one that isn't essential for this specific job.
Right, don't say you hate talking to people if you're applying for sales.
Exactly. Then, the action part. Explain the specific steps you are actively taking to improve on it.
Actively doing something. Important.
Very. And finally, result. Share the progress you've made or the positive outcomes you've seen because of your efforts.
Okay, let's walk through an example. What might that sound like?
Okay, maybe someone says, well, one area I've sometimes struggled with is public speaking, especially with larger groups. That's the weakness. It's genuine, relatable for many, and usually not a deal breaker unless the role is heavily presentation focused.
Okay, seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And the action.
I realized this was holding me back, so about 6 months ago, I actually joined my local Toastmasters club. I practice presenting there twice a month. I've also started volunteering for smaller presentations at work or in classes just to get more comfortable. See, specific steps.
Very concrete actions and the result.
And honestly, it's made a big difference. I feel much more comfortable now, and I've even received some positive feedback on my last couple of presentations. It's definitely still a work in progress, but I'm actively developing that skill.
That sounds pretty good. Honest, shows initiative, shows progress.
Exactly.
So what are the big no-nos here? What should people definitely avoid?
Definitely avoid the fake weakness, the strength disguised as a weakness. You know, I'm a perfectionist or I just work too hard.
Yeah, those sound insincere.
Yeah. They do. And as we said, don't pick a weakness that's fundamental to the job. Also, don't be too honest about, like, major character flaws or professional failings. Keep it manageable.
And presumably, don't say, I don't have any weaknesses.
Oh, definitely not. That just signals a lack of self-awareness, which is kind of the opposite of what they're looking for with this question.
So the key is acknowledge a real but not critical weakness and strongly emphasize what you're doing about it.
Precisely. Show that growth mindset.
Okay, moving on. Question number 3. Why do you want to work for this company? This feels like a core question.
It really is. It's your chance to show you've done your homework and that you're genuinely interested in them specifically.
Right. Not just any job that came along.
Exactly. They want to know, have you researched us? Do you understand what we do, what we value? Is there a real reason you chose to apply here? And importantly, do your own values and goals seem to align with our company culture and mission?
So how do you convey that genuine, informed interest? The source talks about research connect enthusiasm.
Yeah, another helpful structure. Research comes first. You need to show, specific things about the company, maybe recent news, a project they did, their stated values, something concrete.
Not just, you guys seem cool.
Definitely not. Then connect. Link what you've learned about them to your own skills, your interests, your values. Why does their work resonate with you personally and professionally?
Okay, make it personal.
And finally, enthusiasm. Express genuine excitement about their mission, their work, maybe a specific program they have. Show you're actually eager about the possibility of joining them.
Okay, let's try an example for this one. Maybe someone applying to a tech company known for sustainability.
Okay, research. Well, I've been following your company's leadership in sustainable cloud computing solutions for a while now. I was particularly impressed when I read about the Portland project and how you reduced energy usage by, I think it was 40%.
Shows specific knowledge. Good. Connect.
My background is actually in environmental engineering, and I'm really passionate about using technology to tackle climate challenges. So your company's focus in this area immediately caught my eye. Plus, your culture seems to really value collaboration and innovation, which strongly appeals to me.
Nice link between their background and the company's focus and enthusiasm.
And honestly, when I learned about your internal hackathon program that encourages green tech solutions, I got really excited. The chance to contribute to that kind of forward-thinking work is exactly what I'm looking for.
That feels very specific and genuine. Much better than a generic answer.
Right. It shows real interest.
So, what to avoid here?
The pitfalls.
Generic answers are the biggest pitfall. Stuff that could be said about any company. Also, focusing too much on what you get out of it. Salary, benefits, commute. Keep the focus on the company and the role.
Right. It's about what you bring, not just what you take.
And, obviously, showing you haven't done basic research is a major red flag. It suggests you're not that interested. So the takeaway is, do your homework, find specific things you admire or connect with, and clearly articulate that connection and your genuine interest.
Exactly. Show you're being intentional.
All right, let's tackle number 4. Tell me about a challenge you faced and how you overcame it. The behavioral question.
Yes, these are common. They want to see how you handle adversity, how you solve problems, your resilience.
They're trying to predict future behavior based on past actions, right?
That's the idea. How did you actually behave when things got tough? Did you learn from it?
Okay, and for structuring this, Our source highlights the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Can you break that down?
Sure. It's a great way to tell a clear story. Situation. Briefly set the scene. What was the context of the challenge?
Okay, just the background.
Task. What was your specific responsibility or the goal you needed to achieve in that situation? What was the challenge you faced?
Your role in it.
Action. This is the core. What specific steps did you take to address the situation or overcome the challenge? Be detailed here.
What you actually did.
And finally, result. What was the outcome? What happened because of your actions? And importantly, what did you learn from the whole experience?
Okay, let's run through an example using STAR.
All right. Imagine an internship scenario. Situation. During my internship at Global Marketing, I was part of a team developing a campaign for a new product launch. With about 2 weeks left before the deadline, our team leader had an unexpected family emergency and had to take leave.
Okay, challenging situation. Task.
As the most senior intern on the project, I was essentially tasked with coordinating the team's efforts to make sure we completed everything on time, despite being suddenly understaffed and without our leader.
Clear responsibility. Action.
Okay, so first, I organized an emergency meeting to, regroup. We reassessed everyone's workload and responsibilities. I created a much more detailed schedule with clear daily deliverables and check-ins. I also reached out to the previous team leader briefly for guidance on key decisions. And when we hit a snag with some design software, I spent some extra time finding online tutorials to solve it myself.
Lots of specific actions there. Proactive. And the result there.
Well, the result was we managed to deliver all the campaign materials on time. The client was happy, and our supervisor actually commended our teamwork under pressure. The campaign itself ended up exceeding its initial engagement targets by about 25%. Personally, I learned a huge amount about adaptability, clear communication in a crisis, and just being resourceful.
That's a great story using STAR. Covers all the bases, positive outcome, clear learning.
Yeah, it provides that structure.
What are the mistakes people make with STAR or this type of question?
Being too vague is a common one. You need specifics in the action part especially.
Right, details matter.
Choosing a challenge that's either too trivial, I couldn't find the right coffee, or conversely, a massive failure that reflects really poorly on you. Find a middle ground. Blaming others is another big no-no. Focus on your role and your actions.
Take ownership.
Exactly. And forgetting the result and the learning part, that's crucial. What was the outcome and what did you take away from it?
So use STAR to tell a compelling story that highlights your skills. Problem solving, leadership, whatever fits, with a clear, positive outcome and reflection.
That's the goal. Paint a picture of your capabilities in action.
Okay, last one for this deep dive, number 5. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? The future gazing question.
Right. This one is about your ambition, your career goals.
What are interviewers trying to figure out with this?
Well, a few things. They want to understand your long-term career aspirations. Are they realistic? Have you thought about it?
Okay.
They also want to see if your goals align, even loosely, with the potential career paths and opportunities within their company.
So will you likely stick around? Are you a good long-term investment?
Pretty much, yeah. They're assessing that potential fit and retention.
So how do you answer this? You don't want to sound like you have no ambition, but maybe saying, I want your job isn't the best move either.
Definitely not. Our source suggests thinking about it in terms of growth contribution alignment.
Okay, break that down.
Growth. Express your desire to develop professionally, learn new skills, take on more responsibility over that time frame, show you want to advance.
Ambition, but focused on development.
Contribution. Frame your growth in terms of how you'll be able to contribute more effectively to the company's success. How will your development benefit them?
Making it about them too.
And alignment. Show that you see a path for achieving those growth and contribution goals at this specific company. Demonstrate you've thought about how your ambitions fit with their structure or opportunities.
Okay, let's hear an example. How might that sound?
Someone might say, growth. Well, in 5 years, I hope to have grown into a senior data analyst role. I'm keen to build deep expertise in advanced predictive modeling and perhaps explore AI applications within our field.
Clear goal for skill development. Contribution.
As I develop those skills, I want to be contributing to major projects that really drive key business decisions. And maybe down the line, I'd be interested in mentoring newer team members as well.
Shows how their growth adds value. And alignment.
From what I've learned about your company's focus on mentioned-specific area, e.g. data science, and your investment in employee development programs, it seems like a really supportive environment where I could realistically achieve these goals and make a significant contribution long-term.
Ties it back to the company specifically. That feels balanced, ambitious, but grounded.
Right. It shows thought and alignment.
What are the common pitfalls for this question?
Being too ambitious, like saying you want the CEO's job or planning to leave and start your own unrelated company, that suggests you won't stick around.
Lack of loyalty signal?
Being too vague is also bad. I don't know, hopefully still employed. Shows lack of direction.
Right.
And focusing only on personal goals that seem completely disconnected from the company or the role you're interviewing for.
So the key is show ambition, but make sure it's realistic and clearly linked to potential growth within that company. Show you've thought about a future there.
Exactly. Paint that picture of a mutually beneficial future. Your growth aligns with their needs.
Okay, so just to quickly recap this part of our deep dive, we've hit 5 big ones. Tell me about yourself, present, past, future.
Greatest weakness. Weakness action result.
Why this company? Research Connect enthusiasm.
A challenge you faced. STAR method.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years? Growth, contribution, alignment. Lots of frameworks there.
And the main point really is that using these kinds of structures to prepare your answers can make a huge difference. It helps you organize your thoughts, focus on what's relevant.
Yeah, and just come across as more prepared and confident.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes some of the guesswork out.
But knowing the formulas isn't enough, is it? You have to actually practice them.
Oh, definitely. Prepare your points, maybe even write them out initially, but then practice saying them out loud. Get comfortable with them so it sounds natural, not robotic or memorized.
Authenticity again, so important.
Which actually leads to a good point for you listening right now. Thinking about these first 5 questions, which one feels like it might be the toughest for you? And based on what we've discussed, what specific things are you going to do to prepare your answer for that question?
Good self-reflection homework there. And remember, this is just part 1. We've covered the first 5, but there are more common interview questions out there.
That's right. In our next deep dive, we'll tackle some of those other frequent questions, again, looking at strategies to help you communicate clearly and effectively.
So keep an eye out for that. The goal is to help you walk into that next interview feeling much more ready and hopefully land that job you're after.
Exactly. Preparation really is key. It builds confidence, and that comes across. You can definitely approach these situations with more poise.